I was just thinking back to our first interview with you, and I just so appreciate, someone who can speak to a certain topic and just be so clear and so concise and also so honest. And our girls, just the response from the girls was so positive. They're really itching to just be who they really know they are, whether it's in their career, whether it's, managing their finances, whether it's in relationships, whatever it is. And what's funny is that confidence in one area really translates to all the others. So I do think, you're touching on more than just women in their careers. It's really having an effect on their entire lives. So just props to you from that last interview. People still talk about it.
Yeah. Oh, that's so cool to hear. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome. And we're excited to talk about...
We might as well keep it real, right? Yeah.
That's why I love your books too. And I'm excited to get into Career Rookie. And I really do think it's so timely for our community, especially because I know a lot of them have been in the career, in their career for a couple years, or are starting their career, or want to make changes. And the corporate world, quote unquote, or the, I guess where most of the women, or a lot of the women within our community work, it is an interesting place. And so much of it are so many nuances that you don't learn until being in it and experiencing it and all of that. So I was really excited to see, what your new book is about.
Yeah. So the new book is basically, it's called Career Rookie, a Get It Together guide for grad students and career newbies. And it's basically for anyone in their 20s who feels like they don't have their career shit together yet. Because I found, as a career coach, I typically had been making career changes for people. That's typically what I help people with. But then I had this massive wave of people in their 20s who were like, I'm not really needing help with a career change. It's more like I feel like ever since I've left school, I still don't know what I'm doing, even though it's, 2, 5, 9 years out. And so that book is for people who just kind of want to get it together and figure out what they want and start feeling like they're adulting at the level that they want to adult at in their career.
Yeah.
There's so many points at which we could just start, but for someone that, is either just out of college, or maybe they're making, I feel like early in your 20s, a lot of people are switching from job to job, not knowing really what they want. So how do you kick into gear? And are there things that you could be doing and thinking about that will set you up for success in the next career?
Yeah, in your early 20s and just out of school, for sure. Actually, it's going to feel counterintuitive for people, but a really wonderful thing to do is to make sure that when you're in a job early on in your career, it's a place where you can learn and grow. And once you feel like you've learned and you've grown and you're not doing that anymore, get the hell out to the next job where you can learn and grow more. So a lot of people do a lot of job hopping early in their 20s. And that's actually a good thing, because you should go in with the intention of learning as much as you can and then leverage that for the next job. Learn a little bit more and then leverage that for the next job. Unfortunately, people who are in their young 20s now, and actually even people who are in their 30s like me, we grew up with parents who sort of subscribed to this old philosophy of, go to school, graduate, and then stay on one career track for a very long time. And that's not the way the career world works. So a lot of people have anxiety about moving around in their career because they feel like that's wrong. But it's actually a great thing to do at the beginning of your career, which is not the message that most people have received growing up.
Yeah.
I completely agree.
Yeah. And it's kind of like they want to put you in the box. And I always feel like that with everything, like career or relationships. They want to put you in the box and then they're done. They're like, great, you're a lawyer, you're married, you have kids, great.
Yeah. I think that's where the anxiety comes from. It's like, how do we educate the parents? You know what I mean? Because I think people are our age intuitively know that okay, if I don't like something, I'm going to move on to the next thing, hopefully. And it feels good to learn, but I think it's the perception from parents or whoever that really kind of fucks us up.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, one of the things, literally just an hour ago, I was coaching just a young grad. She's 22 out of school, and she's living at home right now. And things are tense between her and her mom because they're not really talking about the fact that she hasn't figured out her career yet. So it's like there's kind of like this, she knows her mom's worried about her, but it's coming across as pressure, even though her mom doesn't mean it to. So she's avoiding her and they're avoiding each other. And it's just this like really tense situation. And so I find often I have to coach people through how to deal with that parental stress as well. And I think one of the best things you can do as a young person who either is living at home or is maybe like feeling a bit of pressure from a parent, even if the parent isn't intending it as pressure, maybe the parent's just intending to be curious and supportive. One of the best things you can do is have the uncomfortable conversation to say, here's how I'm feeling about things. Here's where I'm feeling lost. Here's what I'm thinking about. And, maybe I'm getting some support for this. And just like putting everything on the table helps people to exhale a little bit with parents.
Yeah, I love that. I've never done that before, but I really respect that. And I think that's actually just kind of in line with the theme that I've been thinking about recently as far as parent relationships, is just kind of putting it all on the table in a really vulnerable and authentic way. Thinking about, I think for a lot of kids, they feel more so like they need to have the answers than maybe actually true. And they feel more pressure that's like more put on themselves than their parents potentially could be. But if they knew that the kids were putting in the effort or they were thinking about it, I think it would alleviate a lot of that. But I think that's an interesting point. And, my parents were just happy I wasn't in jail. Something that I really loved about your book and I thought was interesting too was talking about the reasons why people feel stuck. And I think that there are so many women in our listeners that do feel stuck. And I wanted to kind of explore a lot of those reasons because it might help to give them languaging around how they're feeling.
Sure. Yeah. So there's like a few different reasons you could feel stuck, right? So let's say you get out of school or in your early 20s, you might feel stuck. A common reason is maybe because you went to school for something you didn't actually like, and now you just feel paralyzed because you don't want to move in that direction. So that's really common. Another reason people feel stuck close to the beginning of their career is because they have what I call food court days, which is overwhelm of too many choices. So like, have you ever been in a mall or something and you go down to the food court and like there's 40 places to choose food from? And then
Sbarro, Panda Express,
right?
Auntie Anne's.
You're like, how did I end up in line at Taco Bell? Like, where did things go so horribly wrong? It's just because sometimes we don't make good decisions when we're overwhelmed, right? And it's true for career too. So sometimes people can feel paralyzed because they're afraid of choosing the wrong door. So there's that overwhelm with choice thing. Then another reason some people feel stuck is because they feel like there's something they should do or they're supposed to do or they have to do. And so there's like a bit of an internal conflict with like, well, for example, my parents think I should do this, or, oh, I already spent 3 or 4 years doing a degree of this. I guess I quote unquote should do it, but something deep inside them senses that it is wrong. So there's that should versus want feeling that they're having. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so there's many different things that can make a young person in their career feel super stuck.
Yeah. I want too many things. I know what I want, just not how to get it. I know what I want, but it doesn't pay the bills, at least right away. I know what I want and I'm scared shitless to admit it. So yeah, I completely agree. And I see those play out, in various parts of my life and the life of others that I know.
Thank you so much for tuning in to Morning Microdose by Almost 30.
We hope you enjoyed waking up.
As always, we encourage you to take what resonates and leave the rest. If you enjoyed this trip, tune into the full episode on the Almost 30 podcast. All episode information can be found in the show notes.
Make sure to subscribe, and if this becomes a part of your morning routine, be sure to share it with a friend. We have new inspiring doses Monday through Friday. Follow us on Instagram at Morning Microdose, and follow Almost 30 at Almost 30 Podcast.
Thanks for listening. We'll see you in the vortex.